Welcome back to Slow Your Scroll, where we get to meet some of Hawaii's biggest content creators. Today, we have one of the island's most popular restaurant reviewers, and maybe one of the smallest. Today, we have Corina Quach, aka FiveFtFoodie. Welcome in. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you so much for having me. I know it took a long time for me to get here, but we're finally here.
Yes, I mean, I can't imagine how busy you are. Like I said, you're one of the most popular content creators when it comes to food reviews or restaurant reviews in the States. So, let's start at the beginning. How did you get into content creation and food reviews online?
So I started back in 2017. I was part of this uh kind of club thing at the University of Hawaii at Manoa called Spoon Hawaii, where it's kind of like a big nationwide publication. That's kind of where I learned how to do like food content on social media. I would like take photos before Instagram even had like reels. So that's kind of where I started. And since I was already getting invited to things from that publication, I figured might as well just start something. And it's funny because FiveFtFoodie was actually like an accident where I was part of the Yelp Elite squad, but in order to become a Yelp Elite, you needed like a nickname on Yelp. And like you couldn't proceed without putting a nickname. And I was like, I just need to find something to put there. So that's where I just thought of FiveFtFoodie. And then like the next week I was like, I'll use that as my Instagram handle. So I didn't really actually think about it. It was just like, let me just put this as a placeholder. And now it's my identity.
And it's pretty catchy. I think everyone kind of recognizes that name now. Even today, before I brought you in, someone was like, oh, who are you interviewing? And I said FiveFtFoodie. They're like, oh my God, like I love her stuff. And so they're really excited. And that name has now become synonymous with food reviews in Hawaii. I read in an article that you kind of got started in the pandemic a little bit. Can you go into that maybe and how that began your food reviewing on Instagram?
Yeah. So, as I said, I did start in 2017, but I didn't really start taking it seriously until the pandemic because I was still a full-time college student back then. But I graduated like in the middle of the pandemic in May 2020. So I didn't really have anything that I really wanted to do because the world was shut down. I originally wanted to be a pastry chef, so I was supposed to go to Japan for pastry school, but because of the pandemic, I couldn't leave the island. So I was like, you know what? I have this Instagram. When is Mal just like do something with it for now in the meantime. So it was really just like a passion project that I was gonna kind of do as a hobby until I found a full-time job, but then it became my full-time job. Yeah.
Do you ever think about going back to becoming a pastry chef? Is that something that you still want to do?
It's funny because every time I say this, they always ask these questions, and my answer is always no. Like now that I think about it, I'm like, I can't wake up at 2 a.m. to bake. Like that means I will only probably get like 4 hours of sleep. I can't do that. And I really, really enjoy what I do. Like I like seeing the ins and outs of the business, but just not having to manage those kinds of businesses. I like eating the food, but I don't think I would be very good at preparing the food. So I think it ended up working out for the better.
When you were in your baking era, what were some of the favorite things that you used to make?
Oh, so little flashback. I also used to have a cookie business during the pandemic called CQ Test Kitchen, where I made like funky flavors of it, like cookies, and then I would sell them on Instagram. So people would like DM me asking like which flavors I had for the week, and I would go and deliver them. And we had like a Nordstrom pop up. It sold out before it even started, and it was just a nightmare, but it was really fun. But I used to make like black garlic chocolate cookies. I made like cheese cookies. It was just like whatever I thought of. I was like, what are interesting combinations, you know? That was kind of my only step into the pastry chefing until I was like, no, this is too much time and work. I'm done.
The black garlic one and the cheese, that sounds, like you said, very interesting and funky. I want to know, when was your first restaurant review and you kind of knew you had something and people were latching onto it, that you were getting followers or they were sharing it or you had way more views than what you had expected?
Well, good question. I think because it's been so long, right? I can't really think of like one that was like, yes, this is the one that's gonna go viral. But I remember specifically I did one at Higoto. It's like a Japanese like takeout shop in Kaimuki. And I remember that was one of the first reels that I made when reels first became a thing. And I think that one had like really good engagement. And I was like, wow, like the people actually like what I'm posting. And like it's something that I really enjoyed eating. And people like on the street would stop me and be like, oh, I went to this place because you posted about it. And I was like, that was when I still maybe had like 4,000 followers, you know? So I was like, I'm actually making an impact here. Like maybe this could work. Yeah.
And what happens when you go to a restaurant and it's not fantastic? It's not what you'd hoped, and you still have to have that honesty because you don't want to become that food reviewer where everything is, oh my God, guys, this is so good. And then people come up to you and they're like, this place is terrible. What happens when you go and it's not up to par?
Mm. So that's something I struggled with for sure when I first started because I'm like, I want to spread joy and I want all these businesses to succeed. But you're right, like there are a few restaurants that I'm like, mm-mm, like it. There are some aspects where it's good and some aspects where it's not so good. And I think the way I kind of try to package it is like there are always going to be some good things. If the food isn't good, maybe the service is good. If the food and service both aren't good, maybe the location is good. You know, there's always something you can find about a restaurant that can be good. But then it's about being honest about it. Like, hey, I went to this place, like the food was not very good, but the service was great. And my whole thing is like if I go and pay for food, like I think I have the right to post about it because it's just like it's my opinions, it's my money, and I don't want my audience to go to that restaurant and not know that it's not good. Um, and then, you know, have just spent their hard-earned money on food that they didn't really like. So I will always try to message the business and be like, "Hey, I just visited on this day. I didn't really like it because of these reasons, but I'm still going to make a post about it. I just wanted to let you know." And some people were like, "Hey, please don't post about it." Because of like these reasons, like maybe the chef was sick or like, you know, you didn't get the full experience. And then if I hear things like that, I'm just like, okay, I'll give you another try. Like because the main point is that I don't want to hurt these businesses. I just want people to know my honest reviews about them. So long-winded answer, but there are definitely times like that. I think it's just about doing it cordially.
Do you ever have to say something that the restaurant wants you to say, or is it totally up to you? Do they ever tell you like, hey, we'd really like you to say blah blah blah, or like how do you come up with the script of what you're gonna say in your post?
So I think if a restaurant invites me, then I'll usually ask them like, "Hey, what are your talking points? Like, what are you most well known for? What do you want to push? Like, kind of things like that." But I will do my best to make it more about my experiences. Like, if they say like, "Hey, like we have this like amazing coconut pie," you know, I'm just like, "But I don't like coconut, so." I'm not gonna say that because I can't be like, hey, this is the best coconut pie I've eaten if I've had a better coconut pie somewhere else. But I will say, hey, these people are known for their coconut pie. You should give it a try if you like coconut. You know, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's all about the phrasing and
hmm
kind of how you frame it. And that's one of the things that I think makes your post unique. And at the very beginning, sometimes you say almost what the opposite of what someone might think of a positive food review is, something along the lines of like, oh my God, I hate this place because now I need to spend all my money here because it's so good. So something again where you have that opposite. Um, you're coming up with that or what is your creative process when writing a script?
I definitely sit in front of my computer for about 20 minutes just finding one hook. So it's usually like you need a hook to, you know, reel your audience in so that they watch it. And then from there it's like the hook and then the meat of it and then kind of a closing statement. So that what you just described, like, oh, I hate this restaurant because then it's just like people are like, why do you hate the restaurant? You know, like what did they do? You know, like people love hearing the tea. But then if I'm like, I hate them because now I have to spend all the money, then they're just like, whoa, wait, what? Like you hate them, but now you're gonna spend money. Like I don't get it, you know, and that's what makes people watch. But it's also just because like that's the kind of content I like watching is like I like hearing those catchy hooks, like wondering what's gonna be next. And I think that's the cool thing about social media is that like you're always like getting all this new information in like fun ways, you know, like it's not just a advertisement like, oh, come to this restaurant, we have chicken karaage. Like anyone can do that, but it's just like, oh my god, like I hate this restaurant because now I'm spending all my money on this chicken karaage. Then people are like, I need to go, I need to get that right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's all that about that tease, that hook, that sell. I mean, we have that in the news when
Mhm.
we have to, start our stories with something that's going to grab everybody. Um, one thing, and I don't know if other people have talked about it with you, is like you have a very fast way of talking, even here in person. I could see it's fast, and I was wondering if that's almost like a strategy in order to keep the followers tuned in, like really intently listen because they don't want to miss what you're saying, or if they do, then they have to repeat watching the reel. Is that something intentional on your end, or are you just kind of naturally a fast talker?
That's so funny that you mentioned that because I'm really just a fast talker. Like so many people are like, "Oh, do you like speed up your audio? Like like there's no way you talk that fast." And I'm like, "If I'm talking about something I'm passionate about, you will need subtitles even when we're talking face to face because like that's how fast I'm just like my brain cannot like my mouth can't keep up with my brain basically. But it kind of is a strategy not in the sense that I want to retain the audience, but more because like you only have a minute really to like tell your point and I don't want my followers to be sitting there for 4 minutes listening to me review something. I'm just like, here's all the information you need to know. Take it in the next 60 seconds because you're not going to want to sit there for any longer. You have other better things to do.
Yeah, everyone's attention span is getting shorter and shorter and shorter. Um, Obviously, you've done incredible as far as building your following. For anyone that's watching that or listening that wants to build their own following, do you have any like strategies or tips to success and getting more followers or getting more views and eyeballs, things that have worked for you?
I think the thing that I tell most people is that you just need to be very genuine in what you do, and it has to be something that you actually like doing that you want to create content on. Because, like, if I started my page back when I was still a high school student, it would not have succeeded because I was a pickiest eater. But because I started this page when I was becoming more adventurous and wanting to try new foods, I think it helped because I was like, okay, what's the next thing I can dip my toes into and like try? And it is really hard for content creators to not be genuine because you like for me I post pretty much every day and if I had to create a whole new persona just to post something that I think might go like viral, like if I had the influencer voice or if I like did certain things just to please my followers, it wouldn't last because I'm just like if I'm creating content every single day and I can't keep up that persona, it's going to fall apart. So whatever you see online is basically what you get from me. And I think that's a really big part in how I grew my community is because like I found people who like me for who I am, not for someone who I think they would. And eventually it's not going to work. So
And obviously, there's tons of ways that people do food reviews and restaurant reviews. I think some of the most popular are people sitting in their car and literally eating out of the takeout container. But you obviously is a little more slickly produced, a lot more post editing. Whereas in the car, it's a little bit more candid, or at least it seems that way. Um, is there a reason that you like that style more not eating in front of the camera or in your car, or versus editing it after, adding some of the captions and everything and sound effects and all of that? Is there a reason that you gravitate towards that style?
I think in the beginning, I'm just a very awkward person, so it's really hard for me to talk on camera. So even when Reels first came out, I was like, I don't even know how to do voiceovers. Like the first ever voiceover I ever did back in like 2021, I took 50 minutes to make a 40-second voiceover because I had to keep redoing it, so that's how awkward I was. So I think the way my content is right now, it's kind of just evolved, but it started off as me just not being able to film anything about myself. But I am actually starting to try to become more comfortable being in front of the camera, like talking in front of the camera, because there are a lot of like Hawaii local content creators that I really like that I think you should totally interview too, because I like look up to them and a lot of them do that same thing. It's just like they just talk in front of the camera as if they're with me. So I do the videos that I do now just because I'm awkward. That's really all it is.
Well, this is obviously a big step for you, stepping in front of the camera, long form interview. So great way to start the new year. Congratulations. You talked about there's other people that you think are fantastic. Who are those inspirations that maybe you pull some of their ideas from and put them in your own content, or even you just look at them and you're like, wow, that is just some great content?
So the person that I looked up to the most when I first started Reels, because again, I had no idea how to make these videos, was my friend Tasia. She owns Hungry Little Bean, and she is really good because she was a fast talker like me. So I was like, if she like her videos blew up during COVID, so I was like, she talks just as fast as I do. So I'm just like, that was something that I was like, wow, like people will listen to a fast talker. So that kind of gave me the confidence to, be who I am. But there's this content creator named Follow Amy here, and she does such a good job at like day in the life vlogs. Like there's one video she's cleaning her apartment just for like 60 seconds, and it has like over 1 million views. And I'm just like, that is so cool, like she can talk in the car, she can talk while she's vlogging. Like she was vlogging like during the Fukubukuro, like all in one New Year, and like there were so many people around. She just did not care, she's just like, I'm doing whatever I need to do. And I think I just really want to channel that kind of like confidence.
Yeah, I mean, it takes, like you said, confidence to be out in public and pull out the phone and then not only just film something outwardly, but then film towards yourself and start narrating something all of a sudden. So that takes a ton of confidence. When you're putting together all these reels, how long does one normally take after you filmed and everything?
I think post filming, I would say maybe it takes around 30 minutes to write the script, 30 to 40 minutes to write the script, and then another maybe 25 to like put all the clips together, maybe 10 minutes of captioning, and then writing the actual caption takes maybe about another 10 minutes. So in total, a little over an hour to produce like a 60-second clip. But yeah, I think it's definitely gotten a lot easier. Like I said before, it took me 50 minutes to record a 40-second voiceover. So compared to 4 years ago, I'm definitely doing a lot better.
Obviously, everything gets easier with time as you start to learn the little tips and tricks. Where are you now recording? Is it on your phone? Do you have a microphone? Like, what's your setup?
It's all just on my phone. I literally just do this.
You record all your voiceovers just on your phone?
On CapCut.
Wow.
Yeah.
So who is recording most of the video when it's facing you?
I usually just have it up like right over here, like just facing me this way if I'm like eating something. But I usually bring my partner or my sister or my mom or someone around me. Sometimes I just have a tripod. It's really just finding literally anyone or anything I can use to like even just like a 4-second video that I can use.
And when you bring them along, do they ever get impatient and ask like, oh my God, can we just eat already?
I think before they definitely did, but I think now they know exactly what I do. Like they know like, okay, first she has to do this and then I have to do this, like, so I think I've like almost trained them very well. But the only person I won't bring to my shoots is my dad, because he is very much like the can we eat already kind of type of guy. And I'm just like, that stresses me out. So I'll usually just bring him the leftovers instead of bringing him to whatever thing I need to go to.
And how do you go about like choosing what's on the menu amongst everybody? Does the restaurant say like, I know earlier you said like we have the greatest coconut pie, but if you don't like coconut, but how do you normally go about choosing? Because obviously you can't try everything on the menu and you're trying to give the viewer at least a good smattering of a diverse selection on the menu. So how do you go about choosing?
I usually look at the menu beforehand because I'm so indecisive that I'll usually start studying the menu like 3 days before. And then I'll be like, okay, these are the things I kind of want to try. Or like, when I get to the restaurant, I'll ask them like, what are the most popular items? What are the most photogenic items? What are the items that you want to push? Or like, what are seasonal things that you like want more eyeballs on? But if I'm going with someone else, I want their opinions too. Because I can definitely say I lean towards like I lean towards one kind of style of food and my sister leans towards another, or my mom, so I want other people's like opinions and the things that they like as well. So I kind of just like factor in what I want, what my friends want, and what the restaurant wants.
When it comes to your family, you said your dad doesn't like to wait around and so you don't bring him along, but what do they think about just you being a public figure now in Hawaii, someone that is recognizable?
I think it's really funny because when I first started this, like my dad was like, I don't understand what you're doing. Like, why don't you just get like a government job? It's like more stable. Like, I know he was only looking out for me for sure, but I was just like, I think he just didn't understand because he doesn't have social media. So he's like, I don't understand what this is. And my mom was very much like, you do whatever you want, but I know eventually you're probably gonna like want to get a corporate job, and I didn't blame them because they just didn't grow up with social media. But my dad was and is an entrepreneur. So I think growing up watching him, build his own business and becoming so successful, I was like, that's what I want to do. But now that I am where I am, like they're so, so proud of me. Like my dad doesn't even call me by my name anymore. Like whenever I go over to his house, he calls me by 5 Foot Foodie. So it's just like he'll like send like screenshots of like my YouTube videos and stuff to my family. Like he signed up for YouTube and he's like, maybe I should get a Facebook so I can watch your videos. Like that's how supportive he's gotten. So it really is nice seeing like how much my family supports me and what I'm doing.
That's awesome. Thanks so much for listening. We'll be right back with 5 Foot Foodie Corina Quach after the break. Welcome back to Slow Your Scroll. Although I'm sure it was probably a struggle at first, maybe it wasn't an instant success and you maybe weren't seeing the popularity or financially what you needed to possibly sustain yourself. Were there any times that you wanted to quit and go back to baking or a government job like your dad was suggesting?
I don't think I've ever had a point where I was like, I want to quit. Like, I love what I do so much because of the community that I've built, where I'm just like, they're so supportive of me. And I think there are definitely days where I was like, this is getting kind of rough. Like, you know how people always say, like, oh, the Instagram algorithm, like, hates me. And, like, it really does hate people sometimes. Like, I've definitely posted videos and I'm like, okay, this one's gonna do so well. And it, like, completely flops. And, like, I hate, that I need that kind of external validation. But I'm like, it does suck. Like, you put 4 hours of your work into a video just for it to not do as well as you wanted. So there are definitely like rough times, but I don't think I could ever imagine myself doing anything else besides like content or like at least not I just want to be my own boss, I guess. And I think sorry, go ahead.
My next question was just going to be, what is your ultimate goal? Or is this the dream job and you just want to keep building and building and building?
I think the ultimate goal is to continue what I'm doing, but continue loving what I do. Um, I think I'm definitely working towards like doing more long form and being more comfortable with a camera in my face and talking to the camera. So I've been like doing more long form like YouTube to capture more of my lifestyle. And I guess my ultimate goal would just be, yeah, to grow my audience, but also create more things. Like I have so many ideas that I don't want to just stick with content because I love it, but I'm just like, I have a website idea, I have an app idea. There's like, I want to open up a matcha cafe. Like, there's so many things that I want to do that I don't want to just like be constrained to one thing. And like, I love it, but I'm just like, I want social media to always be something that I love. And I know that if I do this for another 10, 15 years without ever stopping, it's gonna get tiring, and I never want to hate social media.
We talked a lot about your current present life as a content creator, but let's now shift backwards and rewind and learn more about your childhood and where you grew up. Are you originally from Oahu, or what is your background? What was your childhood like?
So I was born and raised on Oahu. I grew up here in Kaimuki. And I went to Kalani High School. I graduated in 2016. I was a valedictorian, not to brag. But yeah, so I basically lived my whole life here. All of my education was here. I went to the Shiloh College of Business. I graduated with entrepreneurship and international business. And yeah, I have two sisters, a loving mom and dad, and a really, really old dog,
What is the dog's name?
Bella. And she is gonna be 18 this year. She's literally like, she's
Well, you weren't
blind.
kidding when you said really old.
Really, really old. She can't see. She always like walks into walls. It's really bad, but she's so cute.
When you were younger, did you watch cooking shows? Like, where do you think this affinity towards food came from?
So my mom is an amazing cook. I've literally told her so many times that she should open a restaurant, but she's like, I don't want to cook for people. I only want to cook for my family. And my dad loves food. Like, I have never seen anyone love food as much as my dad and my middle sister. Like, they just have so much fun eating and discovering new foods. And when I was little, I was such a picky eater. Like, I didn't eat sushi. I didn't eat raw fish growing up in Hawaii until like I was 18 or 19, which is kind of crazy because everywhere you go, there's poke. And like, I'm Japanese, so like I should be eating sushi, but like I didn't eat raw fish for so long because I was like, oh, that's gross, And like after I like ate raw fish for the first time and I was like, this is so good. Like, I can't believe I spent almost 2 decades not eating it. And then I was like, what else have I been missing? And from that point, I think I was like, okay, I really need to start like expanding my palate and like learning more about these different foods. Yeah.
What's like the craziest food that you've ever tried?
I can't think of anything from the top of my head, but I remember when I was a kid and I was a picky eater, my dad was like, "You need to try this frog leg. It's so good." And I was like 8 and I was like, "I'm not going to eat that." But he was like, "It just tastes like chicken. Just like close your eyes." And I don't know what made me eat it, but I did and I was like, "You're right, it does taste like chicken." But I think that wasn't like a big enough catalyst for me to be like, "I'm going to try more food."
Yeah. Um, how often do you go out and you're not eating? Or I mean, you're not eating, you're not filming what you're eating. Because obviously that is your life, filming yourself out to eat. So how often do you just go into restaurants and you're not actually taking videos?
Hardly ever. There was one time we were celebrating my sister's birthday and she actually got mad at me because she was like, "Why are you filming? Like this is my birthday dinner. Like put your phone away." But I think that just shows like how ingrained it is in my being. Like I was filming even when I was like coming up the parking lot today because like the uncle at the toll booth was so nice. But yeah, I really don't put my phone away, especially when we're eating. Like I think if I eat out 500 times in a year, I probably don't record maybe like 6 times. Just because like everything is content. Like I always want more B-roll of anything in case I ever need it.
And how do you save all this video?
I have like 2 external hard drives. So every few months, I've been really bad at it recently, but every few months I'll go sit down for about 6 hours on my computer and just consolidate all the videos that I need and then just put it onto my external hard drive. Like before, I would just put everything on there and then I was like, "Whoa, this is like getting too overwhelming because if I need something, I have to sift through everything." So it's like all in categories. So it's like by like region, like Kaimuki, Hawaii Kai, like all the Moana, like I have all of these and then it's just like if it's like the Waikiki folder, it's like International Marketplace, Royal Hawaiian Center. Like there's like all these folders, and then it's just like by name. And now I've learned how to like consolidate all the videos. So if I have like 50 clips, I'll consolidate it into like the best 15 clips, and then cut all the parts that I think I'm gonna need. So it turns into like 4-minute videos turns into like 30 seconds that I could possibly use in the future.
You're becoming really efficient at how
I'm
you.
trying. I really need to. There's just so much content. I have like 8 years of content worth of stuff on those hard drives that I need to be able to organize them or I'm going to have a hard time later on.
With 8 years of content, do you ever look back or do you ever scroll through your profile and you see things that you cringe at and you're like, "Oh my God, like what was I thinking?" And if so, like give some examples.
Oh, I try not to look at the things that I used to post because they are really cringy. I was just thinking about the other day, but like when Reels first started, like no one was doing voiceovers, no one was like recording themselves. It was all like, what are the cool transitions you could do? So I remember like throwing food in the air and like moving your phone down and, like, and then swiping, and like when I see that, I'm just like, what was I doing back then? But I think that's the fun thing. It's just like your content is always changing. So like even when I'm making my YouTube videos now, like I just started a couple months ago and it's really, really hard. Like it's so much harder editing a long form YouTube video than it is a short form reel. But like as I'm making it, I'm like, I know in a year I'm gonna look back and be like, this is terrible. But I think it's more just like practice for me. So even if it's cringy, like my motto is kind of just like, just do it. Like, oh, I just stole Nike's motto. But it's just like literally just do it because I'm always gonna need that experience. And the more I practice editing and like filming, the better I'm gonna get.
Yeah, I mean, it's just repetitions. It's like going to the gym. You lift more, you get stronger.
Mhm.
You edit more, you get better
Yeah,
at
it's
it.
just the rule of the world. Like as long as you do it and learn something from it, I think you're always gonna get better.
Yeah. As you've gotten better and as you've gotten more popular, how do you deal with getting recognized in public, or do you get recognized in public?
I definitely do. It's not just me that gets recognized, but like my sister, my mom, my dad, like everyone will like come up to me and be like, "Oh yeah, like I was just grocery shopping and someone was like, "Oh, do you have a sister? Is she 5 foot foodie?" Like super random interactions like that, and I think it makes me feel very happy. But at the same time, again, I'm very awkward. So like when someone's like, "Oh my God, I follow you," all I can say is, "Oh, thank you." Like I don't know what else to say. Like I feel so bad because like I feel like most other people can have a conversation, be like, "Oh, like I can't even think of anything that I would say besides like, "Thank you. What's your name? Thank you for following me." Like because those are kind of the only genuine feelings I have is just thank you for following me.
Just gratitude and a tough way of expressing it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
When you're not out and about shooting content and eating, what are your other hobbies? What do you like to do?
I like to watch anime and read manga. I have probably like 600 Japanese manga books in my house right now. I really like to travel, and my partner likes to travel, which is perfect. So we get to like travel the world together. I really like going on walks, especially when it's like a really nice day in Hawaii. Um, yeah. I also like really going to the Humane Society, like as a date night, not date night, but like as a date. It's just really cute to like see the dogs and like, like pet the cats and stuff. Yeah.
Um, you mentioned traveling, and that kind of brings us to this big the elephant in the room. You are very soon not going to be in Hawaii. You're making a big
Yep.
move. Tell the followers that don't already know where you're going and why and what's next for 5 Foot Foodie and the page.
So I will be leaving to Australia in less than 10 days now, which is crazy. So my partner is originally from Australia. He's here on a work visa, but his time here is up, so we have to move back. So we're going to be starting our new life together in Australia. We are going to be in the capital of Australia. It's called Canberra. So from Honolulu, you would catch a flight to Sydney, and then from Sydney, you would have to catch another flight to Canberra. So it's kind of a long journey. But I will try to continue 5 Foot Foodie. And I thought about it and I was like, they don't measure height in feet. So I'm like, do I have to change my name to like 1.5 meter foodie or like 158 centimeter? But I'm like, that doesn't have the same ring to it. But Nick assured me that like everything's fine. I can keep my name. Like they're gonna understand what I'm talking about. So thank God for that. But yeah, I'm gonna try to do more lifestyle instead of like food reviews because I still want my content to be relatable to my current audience. And if I'm reviewing food from 5,000 miles away, they're not really going to be like, let's go to this restaurant in Canberra. So I think I want to do more like, come with me as I prepare for my move. Like, we're looking for a house. Like, this is what it's like to find a new job in the city because I'm going to be unemployed. So, it's like, come navigate my life with me kind of thing now.
And when you say come find a job, are you going to try to find something? I don't know if the term is like more regular or more stable or more office like than content creation, at least as a holdover until you get more established with content out there. Is that the plan, to get a kind of a more officey job, or are you just going to straight dive right in and keep going with 5 Foot Foodie, but that different lifestyle sort of content?
So the funny thing is I can't actually work in Australia yet because I only have a tourist visa. So until I get my permanent partner visa, I'm not eligible to work. But the workaround around it is that I have my own business in Hawaii right now. So if I find social media clients in Australia that want to work with me, then they can pay me through my American business and I can still create an income.
So what is that business?
Social media management. Yeah. So I
Okay.
manage like restaurant pages and stuff here. So when I'm gone, I'm gonna have a little team that will help me like create content here. They're just gonna send me the content and I get to edit it, still post the same things. But that's my main job. So a lot of people think that I make a lot of money on 5 Foot Foodie and they are completely wrong. Most of my income actually comes from the social media management. So when I move to Australia, I want to find restaurants that need social media help and like want to bring up their social media presence. And I want to kind of step in and be like, hey, these are the clients that I've worked with. Like, I want to help you, and they can pay me through my American business, and everything will be fine. But yeah.
Got it. I mean, that makes sense. You're obviously an expert at what it takes to make restaurants and businesses flourish online.
I
So,
hope so.
yeah, you have that expertise. Um, I want to know what your favorite restaurant here in Hawaii is.
Hmm. There's so many good places, but I think the one that I will always recommend to people is the Pig and the Lady. They just recently moved to Kaimaki, but my dad's side is actually like my dad is born and raised in Vietnam, so we like I don't have any Vietnamese blood in me, but we are really strong in the Vietnamese culture in my household. Like they all speak Vietnamese, we all eat Vietnamese food, like they all celebrate Vietnamese culture. So like I really like that the Pig and the Lady like celebrates those cultures and traditions as well. Like I remember when I was like growing up, I didn't want to embrace that side of me because I was like, it's not cool, like like no one could pronounce these dish names and like people would like smell my lunch and be like, oh, that smells weird, and I'm like, it's just fish sauce, like why are you guys complaining, but I'm like, I feel like Pig and the Lady always like embraced their culture and like wanted to always bring the Vietnamese culture to Hawaii in a very easy to understand way. So every time someone asks me like, where should I go to eat? Like I'm just like, if you can get a reservation, go to Pig and the Lady because they are really good at what they do.
And if they're your favorite restaurant, what is your favorite item from their menu?
Oh, there's too many. I don't know why you would make me choose. Well, the other thing is that they change their menu seasonally, but I think one of the items that I've had multiple seasons now is the Pig and the Lady Caesar salad. And I know. I'm just like I hate recommending a salad of all things because people are probably going to question like, "Are you really a foodie?" But like that salad is so good, and I feel like it's almost like cheese with a side of salad because they just put so much Parmesan cheese and there's like so many different flavors. But if you don't want to accept the answer of the salad, I would say their bolognese pasta is really really good. It has like so many like fragrant like flavors they use on the pasta, which is also a local brand. It's just so good. There's so many flavors and like they do everything so well there.
And I won't ask what your least favorite restaurant is,
Please don't.
but what is your least favorite food? What is something that you just like refuse to eat?
So a lot of people know that I absolutely detest mayonnaise. I like there was a point, and sometimes I still do, but there was like a point where I like used to gag. Just hearing the word mayo, I'd be like, oh, like I threw up in my mouth a little bit because it's just I don't know, it was just so gross to me. I think I'm definitely getting better because there are definitely some dishes where I can't not eat it. But if I can help it, I would try my best never to go close to it.
So when you are trying poke and stuff for the first time or sushi and it has mayo on it, are you able
Uh
to get that down or what?
I've gotten better. So like spicy ahi, I can because it's masked with a lot of other flavors. But like some torched salmon and stuff, I cannot. Or like California rolls because it's just imitation crab with mayo. Sometimes I'm just like, I can't touch that kind of stuff. But I will eat it if I absolutely have to review it. But but again, I'm just like you're not gonna get an like a my review of the California roll is not going to be the review you want because I hate mayo. So if you love mayo and I say, "Oh, I didn't like the California roll," you might like it, but I don't because of personal preference.
And to end, we'll ask, what is a restaurant that took you by surprise that you didn't think was going to be anything special, but then afterwards you were like blown away and you just have to recommend it, other than Pig and the Lady?
Hmm. I feel like I try to go into restaurants with a very like no expectations kind of baseline just because like I've definitely had times where I'm just like, "Oh, this is going to be so good." And I come out of it and I'm just like, "It was okay, but it wasn't as good as I expected." So I try to go in with like no expectations. But the place that really took me by surprise is Coco Head Cafe. Because I've always loved their brunch. But they were like, "Oh, we have a new dinner menu that we want you to check out." And I was like, Coco Head Cafe is kind of known for like their sweet like French toast and stuff, you know? Like I don't know how you can possibly do a dinner that could top the brunch, but I was so wrong. I made a video about it, but I think I named it like the best dinner that I had in 2025 because it was so mind-blowingly good. Like I had high expectations, but it just blew my expectations out of the water.
We'll end on that high note then. Um, Karina, thank you so much for coming in. I
Thank you
appreciate
so
it. I'm
much.
glad we were able to get you in here before you head off to Australia, and we are wishing you much luck out there, and hopefully you find success in the social media management, and everyone I'm sure will remain following you. But if you want to tell our viewers at home where they can follow you, if they're not already doing it, go ahead, let them know.
Cool. Thank you so much for watching. Again, my name is Corina Quach. I have the social media handle of 5Foodie. You can find me on Instagram, TikTok, and now YouTube.
Awesome. Thank you guys for joining us, and we'll be back next time with another interview. This has been Slow Your Scroll.